So we've socialized our capabilities and drivers in Colloquial and used the Colloquial and Teams integration to get agreement on those reference models and their tagging, and we have imported them into AIM. So here's the drivers. Here is the capabilities. You can see there's a people, process, information and technology attribute, and a strategic importance attribute. What we've also done is we've set the modelling purpose. I want to provide clarity on courses of action to realise the city's goals and objectives. This can be anything. It can be scoping a project, it could be something quite broad or narrow or specific. And this is used if you want to use the auto architecture goal-seeking feature of AIM. We've also defined the context and setting that this is our definition of a smart city. This is important because this will influence all the content that's generated. So you need to spend a bit of time defining your purpose and context before you start generating content. So the next thing we're going to do is we have the current state, people, process, information and technology view. We're going to generate a suggested target view. And I'm just going to hide strategic importance. All right, so here's this environmental management, here's water management. So I'm just going to generate properties for this cluster. You would normally do this for the whole view so that OpenAI can look at, say, all the capabilities and sort of give you a balanced response. We're going to get a lopsided response if we just generate properties for these elements, but that's fine for this demo. So I have a prompt prepared, so I'm going to, I've selected, we're going to do context sensitive tagging, so I've clicked this one to add tags. The property we're going to use is PPIT target, and in the description we're explaining what PPIT means. We're explaining the sequence of tag values, so it knows which one's lowest and highest. If you use numeric values, you could just say from 1 to 5 and tell it if you know if one's low or one's high, whatever you like, and then we just click go. So that's just going to take probably 15 seconds or less. All right, so there we are. So you can see we have PPIT target values, managed, defined, quantitatively managed, and initial. And it's also given a reason of why it selected that value. So for water management, it's saying water management is critical for any city, and most smart cities have advanced capabilities in this area. So you can go in and, if you don't agree, you can go in and change it and change the reasoning. And this is what you might do after you generate content, that this is meant to accelerate your strategy and planning, not replace it. It just gets you to the point much more rapidly where you can have prioritization and planning discussions. So let's run, but there's still an uplift here. We're saying we need to go from initial to managed. So what we're going to do next is build out the abilities that underpin water management. So to do that, we've selected water management. We'll create a new view. So this was our original one. This is the new one. I'm just going to rename this to what we're going to do with this. So this is going to be water management abilities. And and I have a prompt prepared to just copy in. So we could create content. We want requirements elements used, and here's our prompt. I'm just going to finish building this and explain what it is when it's complete. So here's our prompt. Create abilities with a description in the form of ability to enhance or ability to enable, required to support a best practice water management capability. Refer to any drivers that relate to water management to inform your response. And then this is a reference that I clicked on here. This is all my views. I can click on those, which puts in a reference to that view. So when we ask OpenAI to create requirements, it'll look through the relevant drivers that might relate to water management. We want a description, and we'll have a peek at perhaps how much content there is to unpack. All right, so it's saying there's 7. 10. The answer varies sometimes, so let's go with 10. There's 7 to 10-ish. We don't want too few, and we don't want too many, because we want the elements to all be sort of meaningful and distinct and not overly summarized or diluted. So this could take 20 to 30 seconds. Okay, so there they are. Click Save. So we have, let's read a few. Ability to enhance water quality monitoring, ability to enhance the quality of water through real-time monitoring and management of water resources. Optimized water distribution is ability to enable efficient and equitable water distribution across the city. So we'll generate a title for our view. Just get OpenAI to work out what this view is. Key elements for effective water management. That sounds pretty good. We can change that if we want, but that'll do. Next, what we're going to do is, now that we've sort of unpacked what water management means, and again, you can manually add, remove, modify. You can import from Excel, so it's your definition. This is just meant to accelerate your ability to do things like unpack what water management means. Next, we're going to do some strategic courses of action to improve water management. So this is in terms of strategy to execution, this is the first step in establishing strategy. So I'm going to create another view. I'm going to leave this view alone as our unpacking of water management abilities. So let's select water management, create a new view. We'll rename it to our intent of what this view is going to be, and I'm going to generate some content. And again, I'm just going to, so we want strategic courses of action. I'm just going to create the prompt, and I'm going to kind of explain what it's doing. Okay, so here's our prompt. Provide me with a set of strategic courses of action to work towards best practice water management capability. Be aware of how water management is defined by the abilities for that capability, and we've got a reference to our abilities view. Also take into account the drivers that may relate to water management. Here's a reference to our drivers. So again, we want some documentation for the courses of action, like a little explanation, and we're going to have a peek about how many courses of action there might be. All right, 15. I'm just going to do like 8, so this runs faster. Okay, so there's our courses of action. Let's do a title. Save. All right, so let's have a look. What have we got? We've got, and these are broad brushstrokes recommendations that we will next unpack to into specific projects that can be prioritized and funded and executed. So we have efficiency in water distribution, optimizing water distribution systems through the use of advanced monitoring systems and predictive analytics to reduce waste and ensure supply meets demand. Sustainability in water use is promoting sustainable water usage practices among citizens through education, incentives, and providing tools for citizens to monitor their own water usage. So next what we'll do is we'll pick one and maybe we can get a vote from the audience on which one might be best. And here they've picked efficiency in water distribution. So we're going to take that strategic course of action and create another view. And let's rename this to the intent of this. It's initiatives. And I have a prompt prepared. So again, let's build this and then have a look at that. Let's have a look at how it's put together. Okay, so here's our prompt. So based on the current drivers and abilities that relate to water management, suggest a series of distinct projects to improve efficiency in water distribution. So we've given it a reference to the drivers and say also take into account the abilities that underpin water management so that suggested projects align with this. And we want to generate work packages, which is an initiative, and we can have a peek again at maybe how many work packages there might be. All right, 10. Let's click go. Okay, so there's our candidate project list, and we'll just do a generate a title. Click save. So that's how many have we got? So we've got 10 projects, candidates. That's for one of the courses action. You could easily end up with, a large number of candidate projects to consider. You can also um, use add tags, and you can ask it to add a complexity rating or an estimated cost rating that can feed into your investment planning and pipeline prioritization. Again, you can change the complexity rating if you disagree, but AIM will provide a rationale of why it thinks a project might be, simple or complex or medium level complexity. So that's the demo. What we would do is probably do some sort of uh, limited socialization in AIM while we're here because we might want to add projects, modify projects, but then once we have a kind of semi-stable definition, we would send this back into colloquial where we can do further socialization, and this then becomes kind of canon and becomes a definition of our strategic investment pipeline. That's it. Thank you.